Good morning, YouTube. Matt M. Roy back again. Well, I'm sorry I haven't done a video in a couple of days, but as most of you guys know by now, my mother went in and had a knee replacement surgery last week. And that's what I've been doing pretty much the last week or so, is taking care of her. She is ambulatory, but she has a hard time getting around, and she needs me to constantly bring her stuff. I have to be on her to make sure she takes her medication, because she's on some of the heavy stuff like Oxycontin and can't think of the name of the other one, but it's medication that basically affects her mind a little bit because it's very strong. So there are times she'll fall asleep and she'll miss taking her medication. She has to take it every 4 hours. So that's pretty much what I've been doing. She's actually out with my dad. They had a doctor's appointment this morning. So I took this opportunity to make a video I've been meaning to do for the last few days. As you guys can see in the background, I'm actually watching Tyler Johnson. This is a update video that he did. Tyler, if you watch this, I love your videos, man. Keep them up, and I can't wait to see the hours of the cold starts and all the footage you took. I absolutely cannot wait for that. But that's not what this video is about. I'm getting a lot of questions as to what needs to be done after you have knee replacement surgery. And I'm going to try to make this about a series. So what I'm going to start with is what she uses to keep the swelling down. Because as most of you probably know, after any kind of surgery, that area where the incision is tends to swell up, and as do other areas that surround it. So what they gave her at the hospital to use, and luckily she got to take it home, is this thing right here. This is the DONJOY, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, IceMan Clear 3 and IceMan Clear 3 Plus cold therapy units. Now basically what this is, it's a cooler. You put either ice in it, or as I'll show you later, we actually use frozen water bottles. And it has a hose that comes up to a little pad that wraps around the area where you're having the swelling or the inflammation, and it actually ices it so the swelling goes down. Before I actually show you the machine, I thought we'd go ahead and take a look at the instruction booklet first. As you can see, this just shows you let's see, when to use the Ice Clear Plus. Its intended use is for temporary reduction of swelling and pain after surgery. So yes, I mean, it's exactly what we're using this one for. Let's see, do not use the device on patients with Raynaud's phenomenon. Don't really know what that is. I'm not a doctor. Just gives you the basic warnings. Poor connections between hose could cause leaking. We found that out the hard way. The first night we had this, we were all really tired. I actually hooked this up, and I'll show you guys it later, but there are little clamps that connect the hose to the pad, and I didn't have one totally plugged in. The next morning we had a pool of water on the carpet, so yeah, I could definitely see why they're putting that in the book. Let's see. It shows you the operating instructions. It shows that you fill the actual tub with ice. Then you add water to the fill line, which is right, you can see it right there. It's right where the top of the water is. And you stick the lid on. And then you actually take the little hose. There's that connection I was telling you guys that gave me so much trouble the first night. And that's the pad you actually put around the legs. And that's pretty much it. All the rest of this is safety concerns. Here's the information, some more information about it. Ambient temperature, 10 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius. So not incredibly cold, but cold enough to actually put the swelling down. Relative humidity, 30% to 75%. This is actually the environment that it works best in. I would say it actually gets a little bit cooler than 10 degrees Celsius, though. I'm going to go over to Fahrenheit because we are here in the United States. I've felt it, and I would say at her knee, she probably gets down to about 40 or 42 degrees Fahrenheit. It's not freezing, but again, more than enough to keep the swelling down. Atmospheric pressure, that's just, you know, basic information. It does come with a AC/DC power supply. Some information about that there. So let's go ahead and see the unit itself. All right, and here it is. Now I had to double check. This particular one is the IceMan Clear 3, not the Plus. I'm not sure what the main difference between the Plus is. It might just be the Plus has a little bit more cooling power. But as you can see, we'll go on the side here, it has a little hook that you can actually hook the tube in that brings the water to the chill pad. On the back here is where the tube comes out, and this is where you actually plug in for power. Again, this is just like a regular DC to AC power jack, and I'll go ahead and see if I can pull that up here and show you guys. This is just some, I think, cheap Chinese one. It's AOEM, and it is, let's see what that says. Output is 8.5 volts at 900 milliamps. So not an incredibly powerful machine, because basically all it needs to do is run the DC motor for the pump that actually pumps the water through the hose itself. And here's some information on top. This basically just reiterates what I showed you guys in the book, how to actually use this. And inside, you push this little lever and you can open it up. And as you can see, there's that fill line. And normally you're supposed to fill it up to that fill line with ice and then go ahead and put water on top of that. But my dad figured out a better way, and the therapist actually confirmed this. What we do is we take these water bottles, this one just happens to be from Harris Teeter, and we put 4 of them in there. And these are totally frozen at the time. We keep these in the freezer. We have up to 10 of them actually in the freezer. And what that does is that keeps the water at the perfect temperature for this. And it actually stays longer than ice cubes, because think about it. If you're using little ice cubes, they melt off really quickly. And once they melt off, the water starts warming almost immediately. Whereas with this is like one solid brick of ice. And if you guys know anything about science, when you have a bigger piece of ice, it'll actually last longer. So I'll have to give Dad kudos. My dad is a very mechanical person, and I'm glad he came up with that, because it seems to work very well for her. Now, going down here, we have this little rubber hose to those infamous connectors that gave me so much trouble. Now, basically the way this works is if you need to refill it with ice, which we don't anymore because we use the water bottles, basically just push these and it'll come off. Now, my problem was I didn't have enough strength, and I probably won't one-handed, to actually connect these up again. And basically what happens is there's actually a little metal switch here that you actually have to push hard and activate and make sure that goes all the way up. And if it doesn't, again, you're going to have problems with it leaking like I did the first night. All right, and now we get to the pad itself. As you can see, this side of the pad is where the water flows through. There's actually a little membrane in there, probably no higher, I would say, than 1/4 of an inch. But the water actually flows through the tube into this part and into the pad itself. And the way this works is this actually sits on your knee, similar to this, and then you use this strap here, and you basically wrap this all around your knee, and it just sits there. Now, they told my mom that she needs to do this for about 20 minutes every 2 or 3 hours. Now, to be perfectly honest, she does it a little bit longer than that. I'd say she does about every 3 or 4 hours. So not as often, but she ices it for about 30 to 40 minutes. And I found that you really need to do it that long to get the swelling down. And another nice cool feature of this is you can actually put this on your foot too. My mom did that the first night. She actually wrapped this around her foot because she was having some swelling issues there, even worse than her knee. Because even though you have your incision up here on your knee, it can actually spread down to other extremities, the swelling. So this was a review of the IceMan Clear 3. Again, this is going to be the first part in a series I'm basically going to call How to Recover After Knee Surgery. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. Please remember to like and subscribe. And as always, have a blessed day, everybody.